uh, hushed, reverent, then building to something like joy barely contained. So, Virgo, I have been sitting here with both hands pressed over my mouth for nearly 10 minutes because what is pressing against my spirit right now is so outrageously generous, so completely excessive in its goodness, so wildly beyond the boundaries of what you have allowed yourself to imagine that I am genuinely afraid the words will knock you backward if I do not deliver them gently. But gentle or not, they must be delivered. They must land in your chest like a seed that has been waiting for spring since before you were born. So I am going to ask you to do something that will feel almost frightening in its simplicity. I am going to ask you to believe, just for the length of this message, that you are allowed to be spoiled, not by a person, not by a lover or a parent or a boss who finally noticed your overtime, but by the source of all abundance, by the author of every good and perfect gift, by a God who has looked at your ledger, not the one in your bank account, but the one written in the chambers of your heart, and has decided with a finality that echoes through eternity that your season of scarcity is over, your season of broke is dead, and your season of divine spoiling has just begun. If your eyes are already stinging, if there is a heat gathering behind your sternum that feels suspiciously like hope trying to be reborn, if you are suddenly aware of a tightness in your throat that has been there for years but you never had a name for, I need you to honor that feeling. Hit that like button not as a transaction, but as an act of agreement, as a way of saying, I am listening and I am willing to let this be true. Subscribe to this channel because this is where the wild, unreasonable, completely undeserved goodness of heaven gets translated into words your heart can finally digest, and drop the word receive in the comments. Not as a hashtag, as a surrender, as the opening of a hand that has been clenched into a fist for so long it forgot what an open palm feels like. Now, before we go any further, I need to talk about what broke really means for you, Virgo, because it is not just a number. It is not just the figure that glares at you from your banking app or the stack of bills that seems to regenerate every time you think you have made progress. Broke for you is a landscape. It is a country you have been living in for so long that you have started to decorate it. You have hung curtains over the broken windows. You have planted flowers in the cracks of the sidewalk because that is what Virgos do. You make beauty out of bareness. You organize chaos. You bring order to places that should never have been deserts in the first place. You have become so good at managing lack that you have mistaken your own competence for destiny. You have convinced yourself that your ability to stretch a dollar, to make do, to go without, to wait, to delay, to defer, to deny yourself one more time with a smile on your face. You have convinced yourself that this is virtue, that this is strength, that this is who you are. But I am here to tell you that it is not who you are, it is where you have been surviving. And God is not impressed by your survival skills. He is moved by them, yes. He has seen every sleepless night, every creative meal made from almost empty cupboards, every time you chose someone else's need over your own want, every time you swallowed the words, I cannot afford this, and kept moving with your head held high. He has collected every one of those moments in a bottle, and he has wept over them. not because you were noble, but because you were necessary to yourself in a way that no child of heaven should ever have to be. You became your own emergency room, your own rescue mission, your own provider, and you did it well. But the emergency is over. The rescue has arrived. And the provider of all providers is looking at your self sufficiency and saying, with a tenderness that could melt stone, thank you for holding on. Now let go. I have got this. And I am not bringing you a loaf of bread. I am bringing you a feast. Let me tell you what God means when he says he wants to spoil you, because your mind is already translating that into something small. Your mind is already trying to make it reasonable. You are thinking, maybe a little extra in my paycheck, maybe a surprise discount, maybe my car will last another year without breaking down. No, those are not spoiling. Those are maintenance. God is not in the maintenance business. He is in the transformation business. When God decides to spoil a child, he does not consult their budget. He consults their heart. And your heart, Virgo, despite every disappointment that has tried to shrink it, is still enormous. It is still capable of wanting things so beautiful they make you ache. It is still capable of imagining a life where you do not check price tags first, where you do not calculate the cost of joy before you allow yourself to feel it, where you do not treat your own desires like intruders in a house that was built for them. So when God says spoil, he means the removal of every financial anxiety that has ever kept you awake at 3 in the morning. He means debts that you have carried for so long they feel like family members suddenly being told their lease is up and they must vacate. He means opportunities that do not require you to beg, to grovel, to prove your worth through 100 rounds of interviews and reference checks. He means people walking up to you and saying, I want to fund your vision, or I want to pay off your balance, or I want to give you the thing you stopped praying for because you assumed it was too much. He means your refrigerator being full without you having to perform mathematical gymnastics at the grocery store. He means your home becoming a sanctuary instead of a source of stress. He means your hands, those beautiful, capable, exhausted hands, finally getting to rest from the constant labor of holding everything together. And he means luxury. Yes, I said it, luxury. I know that word makes you uncomfortable. I know it triggers something in you that sounds like guilt, like selfishness, like who do you think you are? But I need you to hear me. Luxury is not sin. Luxury is not waste. Luxury is the natural expression of a universe that delights in beauty. And you, Virgo, you are a sign ruled by Mercury, a sign that understands craftsmanship, that notices detail, that appreciates the difference between something made with care and something made with haste. You were born with a refined palate for quality. You were born to surround yourself with order and beauty. The fact that you have been living without it is not humility. It is a miscarriage of your own design. You were made for gardens, not gravel. You were made for silk, not sackcloth. And God, who made you, knows exactly what materials bring your soul to life. He knows that a soft bed is not an indulgence for you, it is a healing chamber. He knows that a beautiful space is not vanity, it is a sanctuary where your nervous system can finally stop screaming. He knows that good food, beautiful fabrics, art on the walls, flowers on the table, space to breathe, room to stretch, the absence of the constant, grinding panic of not enough. And he knows that these are not extras, they are your birthright. I am seeing the specific shape of your transition, Virgo, and it is not gradual. I know you are used to gradual. You are used to the slow climb, the incremental improvement, the painstaking accumulation of progress that is so small you need a magnifying glass to celebrate it. You are used to earning every penny through sweat and sacrifice, and the idea that abundance could arrive quickly, without warning, without a struggle you can point to as proof of your worthiness, feels almost offensive to your sensibilities. But God is not doing gradual with you this time. God is doing sudden. God is doing overnight. God is doing the kind of shift that makes you wake up and check your account 3 times because you think the decimal point must be a mistake. The kind of shift that makes your landlord call and say there has been an error in your favor. The kind of shift that makes a relative you barely remember leave you something in their will that erases a decade of struggle. The kind of shift that makes a hobby you thought was just a hobby suddenly become a revenue stream so abundant that you laugh out loud at the absurdity of it. The kind of shift that makes strangers bless you, that makes opportunities hunt you down, that makes the universe start behaving like a concierge instead of an adversary. And here is the part that is going to require the most courage from you. The money is coming, the resources are coming, the spoiling is already in transit, but you are going to have to let it land. You are going to have to stop swatting away blessings like they are mosquitoes. You are going to have to stop saying, I cannot accept this. It is too much. I did not earn it. What will people think? I should give it to someone who needs it more. Virgo, listen to me with every cell of your being. You are someone who needs it more. You have needed it more for years. You have been the someone who needed it more in every room you have ever entered. And you have been so good at hiding that need that even God had to lean in close to hear the whisper of your true desire beneath the noise of your responsibility. You do not have to earn what is being given. You do not have to deserve it. You do not have to pass a test or maintain a grade point average or prove that you will use it wisely. The wisdom is already in you. The responsibility is already in you. You are not going to squander this. You are not going to become a different person just because your circumstances change. You are going to become more of who you already are. More generous, yes, but from overflow instead of sacrifice. More helpful, yes, but from strength instead of depletion. More present, yes, because you will finally have the bandwidth to show up without calculating the cost of every minute. I want to talk about the moment the shift actually happens because it is going to feel supernatural and you need to be prepared so you do not talk yourself out of it. It is going to happen in a moment of ordinary time. You will be doing something routine. Maybe you are checking your mail. Maybe you are standing in line at the pharmacy. Maybe you are driving to a job that has been draining your soul, and you are thinking, as you often do, about how much longer you can keep this up. And in that moment, the news will arrive. It will not be heralded by trumpets. It will not come with a certificate or a ceremony. It will be a phone call, an email, a letter, a conversation, a realization, a deal, a discovery, a check, a clearance, a cancellation of a debt, an offer so perfectly aligned with your gifts that it feels like someone read your private journal and decided to make your fantasies real And when it happens, your first instinct is going to be to freeze. Your nervous system is going to scream danger because abundance feels like a trap to a body that has been trained to expect disappointment. You are going to look for the catch. You are going to wait for the other shoe to drop. You are going to tell yourself that this is too good to be true, that it must be a mistake, that someone is going to call you back and apologize for the error. But I need you to do something different in that moment. I need you to take a breath. I need you to place your hand on your heart. And I need you to say out loud or in the silence of your own spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you. I receive this. I am worthy of this. This is mine. And then I need you to act in accordance with the blessing. If it is money, move some of it immediately into a place of joy. Not all of it into bills, not all of it into savings, not all of it into the responsible, sensible, Virgo approved categories that will make you feel safe. Take a portion of it, even if it is small, and spend it on something that makes you feel spoiled, something that makes you feel like a child of a king, a meal you do not have to cook, a garment that feels like a cloud against your skin, an experience that fills your memory with color. A gift for someone you love that is not practical, but is purely delightful. Because the way you anchor abundance in your life is by proving to your own nervous system that it is safe to enjoy it. If you receive a blessing and immediately bury it in the ground like a fearful servant, you are telling the universe that you are not ready for more. But if you receive it and let yourself taste it, let yourself dance in it, let yourself wear it like a crown for even one afternoon, you are telling the universe, yes, I am ready. Send more. I can hold this. I was born for this. Let me tell you about the specific areas where this spoiling is going to manifest, because I want you to be watching for it with eyes that are no longer clouded by doubt. First, your health. God is going to spoil your body. Those chronic aches that you have been managing with aspirin and willpower, they are going to soften. Those sleep disturbances that have made every morning feel like a battle, they are going to dissolve. You are going to find yourself with energy you do not recognize, an energy that makes you want to move, to stretch, to dance, to walk further than you have walked in years. You are going to look in the mirror and see color in your cheeks that has been missing for a decade. You are going to hear your own laughter and not recognize it at first, because it will sound too light, too free, too unburdened. This is what happens when the body finally believes it is safe. When the nervous system finally receives the message that the famine is over, the muscles relax, the breath deepens, the immune system stops fighting shadows and starts building strength. Your body has been in survival mode for so long that it has forgotten how to thrive, but it remembers now. It is remembering in real time. Second, your relationships. God is going to spoil your connections. The people who drain you, who take without giving, who leave you feeling smaller after every interaction, they are going to start falling away. Not through drama, not through confrontation. Simply through a gentle, almost imperceptible fading, as if the universe is quietly rearranging the furniture of your life to make room for people who match your new frequency. And in their place, you are going to find yourself surrounded by generosity, by people who show up with gifts, with time, with encouragement, with opportunities, with the kind of reciprocal joy that makes you feel held instead of harvested. You are going to receive apologies you never thought you would hear. You are going to receive closure that you stopped expecting. You are going to receive love that does not require you to perform, to produce, or to prove anything. It simply arrives like rain because the season has changed. Third, your purpose. God is going to spoil your work. That thing you do, that talent you have been offering in exchange for crumbs, it is about to be recognized at a level that makes you want to hide under the table. You are going to be offered a platform, a position, a project, a partnership that elevates you from the background to the center. You are going to be seen, really seen, not as a helper, not as a supporter, not as the reliable one who keeps the machine running while someone else takes the credit, but as the architect, the visionary, the one whose name belongs on the door, on the cover, on the title, on the check. You are going to be invited into rooms where your presence changes the temperature, where people lean forward when you speak, where your ideas are not just heard but implemented, funded, celebrated. And the strangest part is that it will not feel like a struggle. It will feel like a current carrying you, like you have finally stopped swimming upstream and have allowed the river to take you exactly where you were always meant to be. Now, I must address the serpent in the garden, because there always is one. The serpent is your own guilt, your own deeply ingrained belief that good things happen to other people, that you are meant to be the strong one, the one who does without, the one who understands that life is hard and that complaining is weakness. The serpent is going to hiss at you the moment the blessings start arriving. It is going to say, "Who do you think you are?" It is going to say, "You should give this away." It is going to say, "Do not get comfortable, it will not last." It is going to say, "Remember where you came from. Do not forget the struggle. Do not become one of those people." And Virgo, when that serpent speaks, I need you to remember something. Remembering where you came from does not mean staying there. Honoring the struggle does not mean romanticizing it. Being grateful for what you learned in the desert does not mean you have to keep living in the desert. You are allowed to leave. You are allowed to upgrade. You are allowed to become so thoroughly, unapologetically blessed that your old life becomes a story you tell to encourage others, not a cell you volunteer to stay in out of some twisted loyalty to your own pain. You are not betraying your roots by blooming. You are not betraying your past by building a future that is beautiful. You are not betraying anyone by finally letting yourself be the one who is taken care of for once, for a lifetime, for eternity. God does not want you to be a martyr. He wants you to be a masterpiece. And masterpieces are not stored in basements. They are hung in galleries. They are lit with golden light. They are protected, insured, valued, and celebrated. That is what is happening to you. That is what he is doing. He is moving you from the basement of broke to the gallery of abundance, and he is installing climate control so you never have to shiver again. I want to give you a practice, a spiritual technology to help you navigate this transition without self-sabotaging. Every morning, before your feet touch the floor, I want you to speak 5 things over yourself, not wishes, declarations. Say them like they are already true because in the spirit realm they are. Say, "I am spoiled by heaven." Say, "Money comes to me easily and joyfully." Say, I am worthy of beauty, rest, and pleasure. Say, my needs are met before I even ask. Say, I receive abundance with a grateful and open heart. Do not mumble them. Do not rush them. Speak them like a queen reading her own coronation speech. Speak them like a child who has finally learned that their father is rich beyond measure and that the family vault has always been open to them. Speak them until your own voice stops sounding foreign. Speak them until they feel like home. And in the evening, before sleep, I want you to do one more thing. I want you to review your day and find the evidence, not the big miracles, the small ones. The parking space that appeared when you were late, the unexpected compliment, the meal that tasted better than it should have, the moment of peace that lasted longer than usual, the bill that was lower than expected, the sleep that was deeper than it has been in months. Collect these like jewels, put them in a mental box lined with velvet, because the more evidence you gather, the more evidence you will be given. Abundance operates on the principle of attention. What you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, even while blessings are falling around you like rain, you will stay dry. But if you focus on the drops that have already landed, if you let yourself get wet, if you let yourself taste the water, the sky will open. Virgo, I am weeping as I speak this to you because I can see the other side of this transition. I can see you in a home that feels like a hug every time you walk through the door. I can see you in a bed that cradles you like a cloud. I can see you at a table laden with food that nourishes rather than merely fills. I can see you in clothes that make you stand taller. I can see you giving to others not from your last few dollars, but from your overflow, with a generosity so free and so joyful that it changes the atmosphere of every room you enter. I can see you resting, really resting, not the collapsed exhaustion of someone who has worked themselves into the ground, but the deep, satisfied rest of someone who knows that their provision is secure. I can see you laughing without checking the time. I can see you dreaming without calculating the cost. I can see you living, and I can see the face of God looking at you with a smile so wide it contains galaxies, saying, There, there is my child. There is the one I made in my own image. There is the one I always knew could hold the weight of glory, if only they would stop believing they were meant to carry the weight of the world. Look at them now. Look at how they shine. Look at how they spoil others because they have finally let themselves be spoiled. Look at how the blessing flows through them like a river that never runs dry. That is what I wanted. That is what I always wanted. Not their suffering, not their struggle, not their heroic ability to survive on nothing, their joy, their abundance, their impossible, radiant, thoroughly spoiled life. So here is what you do now. You stand up. You walk to the nearest mirror. You look into your own eyes, past the fatigue, past the doubt, past the reflexive flinch that expects bad news. You look until you find the child underneath, the one who believed in magic before the world taught them better. And you tell that child it is safe to want things. It is safe to have things. It is safe to be rich, to be rested, to be beautiful, to be celebrated. God wants to spoil you. He is not testing you. He is not teasing you. He is not building your character through deprivation. He is showering you with everything good you can imagine and much that you cannot, because His imagination is older and wilder than yours. He wants to give you the kingdom. He wants to hand you the keys. He wants to watch you walk through rooms you thought were locked forever, rooms filled with treasures that have your name on them, and he wants to hear you laugh with delight instead of guilt. Take the keys, Virgo. They are already in your hand. You just have to close your fingers around them. You just have to turn the lock. You just have to step through the door and let the spoiling begin. Your broke season is a memory. Your rich season is a reality. And heaven is holding its breath, waiting for you to look up and finally say yes. I love you. I bless you. I see you crowned. Now go claim what has always been yours.